Santa's Helpers. Did you hear something? I asked my sister Beth. Beth peered up from the game of checkers we were playing on the living room floor. She listened. No, I didn't hear anything, she declared. You did too hear me, our little sister Diana shouted. I said, can I play the winner? I didn't answer. Why won't you answer me? Diana cried. Why can't I play with you? I placed my hand on the red checker and made my move. Because only humans can play checkers, I started. And you're not human, Beth finished. You came from Mars, not from Earth. Good one. I gave Beth a high five. My name is Spenser Mayhew. And here are the things I like to do. I like to play checkers with my sister Beth. I'm 12 and she's 11, so we're a pretty good match. I like to play baseball. Schoolyard, and I like to go sledding in the fresh snow, but the thing I really like the most is teasing my 6-year-old sister Diana. I know, it's not very nice, but it is a lot of fun, and it's so easy because Beth and I look like Mum and Dad, and Diana doesn't look like any of us, and we don't let her forget it. Please let me play, Diana begged. You two always play together, you never play with me. I stood up and placed an arm around Diana. Well, there's a good reason for that, I said softly. Are you sure you really want to hear it? Diana's big brown eyes opened wide. She nodded her head. Yes. I don't know how to tell you this, I paused. I took a deep breath. But you're not really her sister. Diana gasped. That's right. Beth gazed solemnly at Diana. Mum and Dad found you under a rock. You weren't born. You were hatched. Beth and I broke out into a fit of laughter. That's not funny, Diana cried. Hey, it's 12 o'clock, I said, ignoring her. Mum told us we could go sledding at 12. We'll finish up this game later, I told Beth. We bundled up in our new winter snowsuits. They were bright red with green fur trim. Mum bought them for us on sale. Really cheap, she told us. That's because they're really ugly, we told her. Mum met us at the front door. She ran her hand over my green fur. Nice, she said. Take me with you, Diana raced up to the front door. No, Beth and I answered at the same time. Take your sister with you, Mum ordered. She's not our sister, I said. And Beth laughed. How many times have I told you not to tease Diana? Mum frowned at me. Take your sister, she said firmly. She likes the snow and she won't bother you. She's good. See, Mum said I am your sister. I knew I was your sister, Diana said as we made our way to the woods. Sorry, but you're not, I told her. You can't be in our family. We all have red hair and you have black. We have green eyes and yours are brown. And we're all really short and you're so tall. You're definitely not our sister. I am so your sister, Diana yelled. No, you're not, I insisted. We never lie. We always tell the truth. Wow, look at all the kids up there, Beth pointed up ahead to the steep hill that led into the woods. It was the best hill in town for sledding. Hey guys, our friend Ted waved to us as we reached the top. Want to go down together? Ted jumped on his sled. We hopped on ours. We let Diana sit between us, and we took off. The wind whipped through our hair as we flew down the hill. This is great! Diana's cheers rang through the air. I brought the sled to a slow stop at the bottom of the hill. Everyone jumped off, and I turned the sled around. Want to ride down again? I asked Diana. Sure, she nodded eagerly. Okay, but only if you pull us back up the hill. I can't pull the two of you, Diana cried. You're too heavy. Sorry, but that's the deal, Beth said as we leapt back on the sled. Diana stared down at us. She let out a sigh, then she grabbed the rope and started tugging. The sled didn't budge. She tugged harder. This is fun, Beth shouted as Diana tugged us up the hill. When we reached the top, Diana dropped the rope. My hands hurt, she rubbed her sore palms. I grabbed the rope, and Beth and I took off. Race you to the bottom, Ted yelled. Hey, wait for me, Diana cried out. Too late, I shouted as we picked up speed. We had a great run down the hill. We couldn't wait to race back down again. You're going to have a horrible Christmas, Diana shouted at us when we returned to the hilltop. Santa is going to know how bad you were, and he isn't going to bring you any presents. Want to know the truth, Diana? I stepped up to her. There is no Santa Claus. That's not true. Diana balled her hands into two tight fists. There is a Santa Claus. He brought me my ballerina doll last year. Mum and Dad bought you that doll, Beth told her. You're lying, Diana cried. You're big, fat liars. There is a Santa Claus. There is. No, it's the truth, I shook my head. We always tell the truth. There is no Santa Claus. Well, I think there's a Santa Claus, Ted said, because you two sure look like elves. Ted pointed to our bright red snowsuits. Beth and I glared at him. Well, you do, he laughed. You're too short to wear red snowsuits. They really make you look like elves, and those don't help either. He pointed to our red and green boots. Mum bought them on sale, Beth grumbled. We really hate them. You really hate what? Mum trudged up the hill. Nothing, Mum, Beth replied. What are you doing here? It's getting chilly. I came to take Diana home, she answered, but you two can stay. Just make sure you're home in time for dinner. Don't let them stay, I heard Diana wail as they started home. They wouldn't let me ride on the sled. Uh-oh, let's hurry before Mum changes her mind, I told Beth. We jumped on the sled. Beth, Ted and I raced down the hill all afternoon until the sun began to set. As it dipped behind the trees, the day grew dark and cold. Ted and all the other kids headed home. Let's go down one more time. I checked my watch. We still have about half an hour before dinner. Wow, this is awesome, Beth cried as our sled flew over the snow. Her voice sounded tiny on the big empty hill. We own the mountain. A few stars began to twinkle in the blue-grey sky, except for the quiet shush of our runners gliding through the snow. The slope was totally silent. We soared down faster and faster. The powdery snow was packed down hard from the sleds that raced down it all day. Our sled soared on the slick surface. We're going too fast. Slow down, Beth cried. We're coming to the woods. I tried to slow down the speeding sled. I threw my legs over the side and let them drag through the snow. I pulled back on the rope hard until it cut through my fingers. Nothing worked. We picked up speed on the slick, icy surface. I can't stop, I yelled. We're going too fast. We're going to crash into the trees. Beth screamed in my ear, turn, turn. I tried to turn. Too late. The sled smacked into a tree, hard. Beth and I tumbled into the snow. Great aim, Beth grumbled. I told you to turn. Hey, what's going on? I cried as a big net fell over us. I peered through the holes and gasped. 4 small men held the net over us. 4 small men dressed in red snowsuits and red and green boots. It seemed impossible, but they looked exactly like elves. What are you doing? I flailed my arms, struggling to escape. Who are you? Let us go. The little men didn't answer. They shoved us into a big red bag and started to drag us away. We can't see in here, I cried out as Beth and I tossed inside the bag. It's too dark. Let us out of here, Beth yelled, kicking at the sides of the bag. The little men ignored us. I punched the bag hard. Where are you taking us? I demanded. The little men remained silent. Where are we? I asked one of the little men as I stepped out of the big dark bag. He didn't answer me. I squinted, trying to adjust to the bright light. What is this place? I gazed around the room. It was enormous, bigger than an airplane hangar. The high walls were lined from top to bottom with shelves. Shelves and shelves filled with dolls, trucks, trains, every kind of toy you could imagine. Wow. Beth stepped out of the bag after me. It's a toy workshop, she exclaimed. Toy robots marched stiffly around us, zigzagging this way and that as the little men tested them out. I jumped back as a remote-controlled jeep zoomed between my legs. Hundreds of little men rushed about, painting dolls' faces, testing video games, sharpening blades on ice skates. I stared down at the little men in disbelief. They all wore red and green suits. Could it be? I wondered. Is this really a toy workshop? Are these little men really elves? This is too weird, Beth whispered. Let's get out of here. I peered frantically around the room, searching for a way out, but I didn't see a single door or window. There is no way out, I told Beth. We want to go, Beth shouted at the elves. Take us home. Home, ha! That's a good one, an elf laughed. Then he grabbed my arm. Another elf gripped Beth's waist. Let me go, I yelled. The 2 elves dragged us across the workshop. They pushed us through a narrow archway into a small room, lit by a blazing fire and a stone fireplace. In the centre of the room sat a wooden desk and a swivel chair with its back turned towards us. Here they are, one of the elves announced. The chair began to turn. I gasped when I saw the red suit, the big belly, the white beard. Santa Claus. Here are the 2 elves who escaped, the other declared. Santa peered over his bifocals. How could you leave here the day before Christmas? You know how busy we are. We stood in shocked silence. Put them on double work duty, Santa ordered. You two elves will work 18-hour shifts for the next 5 years. But this is impossible, Beth stammered. You don't exist. Santa clutched his big belly and let out a deep laugh. That's just what we tell people, to keep them from snooping around here. It keeps the tourists away. But we're not elves, I insisted. We have a family back in Ohio. Santa pushed his chair back and stood. He crossed his arms behind his back as he walked up to us. He circled us, studying us carefully from head to toe. You look like elves. He walked around us again. You dress like elves. He returned to his desk and sat down. I've heard excuses before, but this is really lame. Now get to work. You can have a 2-day vacation 5 years from now, if you work hard. Then he picked up a pencil, lowered his head, and began checking off names on a list. An elf grabbed my wrist. Another one gripped Beth's arm. They tugged us towards the workshop. Wait, I wailed. I struggled free from the elf's grasp. I ran up to Santa. I can prove we're not elves. I can prove it to you. You can? Santa glanced up from his desk. Okay, I'll give you one chance. You have one chance to prove that you're not elves. Is this the place? An elf asked Beth and I as we struggled out of the big bag. Yes, I cheered when I saw that we were standing on our front lawn. I turned to the elves. This is where we live. Yeah, right, an elf smirked. Diana sat on the front steps, shoveling snow, making a snow castle. Diana, quick, tell the elves who we are. Tell them that you're our sister, I shouted. Diana glanced up. She stared at the 4 little men and gasped. Wow, Santa's elves. Tell them that you're our sister. Tell them, Beth cried. Diana slowly made her way down the steps. She walked up to us. But you always told me I'm not your sister. You said I'm definitely not from your family. Diana, this is no time for jokes. Tell them you're our sister, I begged. Diana turned to the elves. They said I'm not in their family, and they told me Santa isn't real. You two elves are the worst liars I've ever met, an elf said. Big, fat liars. Diana nodded her head. Let's go. One of the elves shoved Beth into the bag. You've missed enough work. Tell them who we are, Diana, please, I pleaded as an elf grabbed my arm. Bye, Merry Christmas, Diana waved to me. Tell Santa that I've been good. So glad you made it to the end of the story. Congratulations! If you would like to hear about any new stories or any new videos from the Leftovers channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon just so we can keep bugging you. We have a distinctly 90s flavour here. We look at video games, toys, books, Lego sets, and we do have a lot of fun, so I'd love for you guys to come back. So stay tuned for some more leftover culture. Thank you for watching.